Hey guys, I am here to help you today. This video to fall asleep. So before that, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, where are you from? And what time are you watching? Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background. Now get comfortable and relax. The air is cool sharp, with the tang of salt and pine. You stand on a weathered Viking wharf. It's late, the kind of late where the world feels like it's holding its breath. The wooden planks beneath your feet creak, slick with sea spray, and the fjord before you stretches into a misty void. Its edges blurred like a dream you're not sure you're having. Lanterns sway on iron hooks, their flames flickering like they're gossiping about you. You pull your cloak tighter, don't ask where it came from. It's just there, heavy wool, smelling faintly of wood smoke. The night is quiet, but not silent. There's a low hum, like a distant crowd murmuring. Though you see no one, you take a step, boots scuffing against the grain of the wood, and the mist swirls, parting just enough to reveal the shape of a longship, moored at the dock's end. Its prow curves upward, a dragon's head snarling into the fork. You squint, trying to make out details, but the ship seems to shimmer, like it's not entirely here. That's when you hear it, a whisper, soft as a sigh, threading through the air. Lost, so lost, it says, and your skin prickles. We're not alone, you turn, half expecting some grizzled Viking warrior, but there's nothing. Just the wharf, the lanterns, and that whisper again, now joined by others, overlapping like waves lapping at the shore. Find her, she waits. They murmur, and you feel a tug, not in your body, but in your chest, like a fish hook caught in your soul. I'm not scared, well, maybe a little, but it's the kind of eerie that makes you curious, like when you hear a creak in your house at 2 a.m. and just have asterisk to check. You walk toward the longship, the whispers growing louder, more insistent. Mist curls around your ankles, cool and damp, like it's trying to hold you back. You notice the planks are carved with runes, their sharp angles glinting under the lantern light. You don't read Old Norse, nobody warned you there'd be a pop quiz, but the shapes feel alive, pulsing faintly, like they're watching you. Historically, Vikings carved runes on everything from stones to ship masts, believing they held power. These ones, they're glowing, which is definitely not in the sagas. Or maybe it is. Historians still wonder if rune magic was more than just superstition. You reach the longship, and the whispers sharpen into a single voice, female, soft but clear. You're here, she says, and you freeze. The air smells of wet wool, and something sweeter, like crushed herbs. You look around, but the wharf is empty, save for a pile of coiled ropes and a barrel that looks suspiciously like it's judging you. Okay, maybe you're imagining that part. You're tired, and this place feels like it's messing with your head. Like when you scroll through your phone too late and everything starts feeling surreal. You step closer to the ship, and the mist parts again, revealing a figure at the far end of the wharf. He's faint, like a sketch someone forgot to finish, but you can make out a long dress, a shawl, and hands moving rhythmically, as if sewing. The whispers fade, replaced by a soft clack-clack of a loom. You blink, and she's gone, but the sound lingers, pulling you forward. You're not sure why, but you know you need to find her. The night feels heavier now, like a blanket settling over you, and the fjord's gentle lapping is almost a lullaby. You keep walking, the wharf stretching longer than it should, like one of those dreams where the hallway never ends. The lanterns flicker in sync with your steps, and you swear one of them winks at you, cheeky lantern. You pass a stack of crates, they're wood splintered and sea-stained, and notice a tiny detail. Needle, bone white, tucked into a crack in the wood. It's carved with intricate patterns, the kind of craftsmanship that screams Viking Etsy bestseller. Lesser-known fact, Viking women often carried bone needles, prized possessions passed down through generations. This one feels different, like it's waiting for you to pick it up. You hesitate, fingers hovering over the needle. The whispers return, a chorus now. urging you to take it. She needs you, they say, and you wonder who she is, the seamstress, a ghost, your high school history teacher. Mad you forgot the date of the Battle of Stamford Bridge. It's 1066. By the way, don't tell her I reminded you. You pocket the needle, and the air shifts, warmer, like a sigh of relief. The wharf feels less lonely now, like you've been invited into its story. You reach the end of the wharf, where the longship looms, its sails furled but shimmering faintly, like they're woven from moonlight. Clack-clack of the loom is louder here, coming from somewhere beyond the ship, maybe in the mist itself. You climb aboard, the deck creaking under your weight, and the whispers soften, as if pleased. You're not sure what you're doing, but you feel like you're supposed to be here, like the fjord itself called you. The air smells of salt and cedar, and you settle onto a bench, the wood cool against your hands. The night is calm, the stars peeking through the mist, and you feel your eyelids grow heavy, like you're sinking into the story itself. The longship sways gently, rocking you like a cradle, and the clack-clack of the loom grows clearer, pulling you deeper into the night. You're still clutching that bone needle, its weight oddly comforting in your pocket, like a lucky charm you didn't ask for. The deck beneath you is smooth, polished by years of boots and storms, and you trace your fingers along the grain, feeling the faint carvings of more runes. They won't glow this time, but they hum under your touch, like a cat purring just out of sight. You stand, steadying yourself against the ship's rail, and peer into the mist. The fjord is a mirror of stars, reflecting pinpricks of light that dance like fireflies. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of damp wood and something floral, like lavender caught in a breeze. You're not sure where you're going, but the longship feels alive, its timbers creaking as if whispering directions. You glance at the furled sails, expecting them to be plain canvas, but they shimmer faintly, threads glinting like they're spun from spider silk and moonlight. You move toward the bow, where the dragon's head looms, its carved eyes staring into the fog. You swear it blinks, but you're not falling for that again. Those lanterns back on the wharf already had you questioning your sanity. You chuckle to yourself, imagining explaining this to your friends. Yeah, I took a nap on a haunted Viking ship. You know, typical Tuesday. The thought makes you relax, your shoulders loosening as you lean against the rail. Then you see her. She's there, at the base of the mast, her form flickering like a candle flame. The ghostly seamstress. Her hands move in a steady rhythm, threading a bone needle through fabric that glows faintly blue, like the edge of a twilight sky. Her dress, simple, wool dyed a deep green, and her hair is braided, glinting with silver beads that catch the starlight. She doesn't look at you, but you feel her awareness, like she's been waiting for you to show up. You step closer, the deck creaking, and she pauses, her needle hovering. You found it, she says, her voice soft but sharp, like a blade wrapped in velvet. You assume she means the needle in your pocket, and you hold it out, feeling a bit like a kid caught stealing cookies. She smiles barely, but it's there and gestures to a loom beside her. It's ancient, wood-worn smooth, with threads stretched tight, glowing faintly like the sails. Sit, she says, and you do, because who argues with a ghost? The loom smells of cedar and wax, and you notice a pile of fabric scraps at your feet, each piece embroidered with tiny runes. You pick one up, and it's soft, almost warm, like it's still holding on to someone's touch. Viking women were master weavers, their textiles traded across Europe and beyond, a fact that's well documented in sagas and archaeological finds. But these scraps, they're different, shimmering like they're woven with secrets. You wonder if they're cursed, or enchanted, or both. Historians still debate whether Viking weavers believed their craft could channel the divine. You sit beside her, and she hands you a thread, cool and smooth, like it's made of liquid starlight. Thread it, she says, and you fumble, because your sewing skills are about as good as your Old Norse. She laughs, a sound like wind chimes, and guides your hands. Her touch is cold, but gentle, like a breeze on a summer night. You start to weave, the loom's rhythm syncing with your heartbeat, and the world feels softer, like you're sinking into a warm bath. The mist thickens, curling around the ship, like a cat, and you hear faint voices again, not whispers this time, but songs, low and mournful, like a Viking funeral dirge. You glance at the seamstress, but she's focused, her needle flashing as she mends a sail that's spread across the deck. It's huge, glowing faintly, and you notice patterns in the fabric waves, ravens, stars all moving, like they're alive. You blink, wondering if you're dreaming, but the needle in your hand feels real, grounding you. You weave for what feels like hours, though time is slippery here, like trying to hold water in your hands. The seamstress hums, a melody that's half lullaby, half warning, and you find yourself humming along, even though you don't know the tune. You're not sure if it's magic or just the fjord messing with your head, but you feel calm, like you're wrapped in a blanket of starlight. You make a mistake with the thread, and she sks, muttering, "You're worse than my last apprentice and he was a goat." You laugh, the sound echoing across the deck, and she smirks, her eyes glinting like the runes. The sail she's mending is nearly done. Its edges glowing brighter now, like it's drinking in the moonlight. You notice a tear in the fabric, shaped like a jagged rune, and you wonder how it got there. A battle, a curse, the seamstress doesn't say, but her hands move faster, as if racing against time. You keep weaving, the looms clack blending, with the fjord's gentle lapping, and your eyelids grow heavy, like they're weighted with coins. The night is warm now, despite the mist, and you feel safe, like you're home, even though you're on a haunted ship with a ghost who's definitely judging your stitching skills. The sail glows brighter now. It's light pulsing like a heartbeat, and you feel it. The ship is moving, not fast, not like some Viking war charge, but slow, gliding through the fjord like a leaf on a stream. The mist parts, revealing a sky bursting with stars, each one sharp enough to cut through your thoughts. You're still at the loom, your hands moving in rhythm with the seamstress's, though you're not sure how you're keeping up. Her needle flashes, stitching the final edges of the sail, and you notice it's not just glowing, it's humming, a low, resonant sound that vibrates. In your chest, you look over the rail, and the water below is black glass, reflecting the stars like a mirror. Fjord's cliffs loom on either side, their shapes softened by mist, like giants sleeping under blankets of moss. The air smells of salt and pine, with a hint of something sweeter, like honey left out too long. You're tempted to lean over and dip your fingers in the water, but the seamstress gives you a look, like she knows you're about to do something dumb. "Focus," she says, and you nod, because getting scolded by a ghost is surprisingly motivating. The sail is almost complete, its patterns shifting faster now, waves curling into ravens, ravens into stars, stars into spirals. You trace one with your finger, and it feels warm, like it's alive. Viking sails were often dyed with bright colors, reds and blues, to signal wealth and power, a fact found in trade records from the 9th century. But this sail, it's woven with something otherworldly, threads that shimmer like they're spun from dreams. You notice a tiny flaw, a loose thread, and you point it out, feeling proud, until the seamstress rolls her eyes. "Took you long enough," she mutters, and you laugh, imagining her haunting a Viking sewing circle, terrorizing apprentices with her sass. You help her mend the tear, your needle moving clumsily, but getting the job done. The sail hums louder, its glow spreading to the mast, the ropes, the entire ship. You feel a pull, like the sail is calling you, urging you to climb higher. You glance at the seamstress, and she nods, her braid glinting in the starlight. You climb the mast, the wood rough under your hands, and the ship sways, rocking you like a lullaby. You reach the top, and the sail unfurls below you, glowing bright enough to rival the moon. From up here, the fjord is a ribbon of silver, winding through cliffs that whisper their own stories. You see shapes in the mist, figures, maybe, or just your imagination playing tricks. The seamstress's voice floats up, soft but clear. "Stitch the last," she says, and you realize you're still holding the bone needle. You lean down, threading it through the sail's final edge, and the humming stops, replaced by a silence so deep it feels like the world is holding its breath. You climb down, your legs shaky, and the seamstress is waiting, her form sharper now, less ghostly. She smiles, and it's warm, like a fire on a cold night. "You're not terrible," she says, and you grin, because that's high praise from a ghost. The ship glides faster now, the fjord narrowing, and you settle back at the boom, the clack-clack resuming like a heartbeat. You wonder what the sail's magic does. Does it guide the ship, protect it? Or is it just a ghost's obsession, a task she can't let go? Historians still wonder if Viking sailors believe their ships carried spirits of the dead. The stars, brighter now, the mist thinning, and you feel the ship's rhythm in your bones, like a song you've always known. The seamstress hums again, her melody weaving through the night, and you lean back, the deck cool against your skin. Your eyelids are heavy, the fjord's lapping a gentle lullaby, and you feel yourself drifting, the sails glow wrapping you. In light, the world is soft, quiet, and you're safe, even as the ship sails deeper into the unknown, carrying you towards something you can't yet name. The longship glides deeper into the fjord, its prow cutting through the mist like a whispered secret. You're sprawled on the deck, the wood cool and smooth beneath you, the bone needle still tucked in your pocket, a quiet weight against your hip. The sail above hums faintly, its glow softer now, like a lantern turned low. You feel the ship's rhythm, a gentle sway that matches the rise and fall of your breath, lulling you into a half-dream where the stars seem close enough to touch. The air is crisp, scented with salt and damp moss, and you swear you catch a whiff of mead, sweet and earthy, like someone's throwing a Viking party. Just out of sight, you sit up, rubbing your eyes, and notice the seamstress is gone. The loom sits empty, its threads still stretched tight, glowing faintly like they're waiting for her to return. You stand, steadying yourself against the mast, and peer into the mist. The fjord has widened, its cliffs now distant shadows, and the water reflects a sky so clear it feels like you could fall into it. You're alone, or so you think, until you hear a faint clack-clack, not from the loom, but from somewhere ahead, near the dragon's head at the prow. You move toward it, your boots soft on the deck, and the ship feels bigger now, like it's grown while you weren't looking. The runes carved into the railings pulse faintly, their glow sensing with the sails hum, and you wonder if the ship itself is alive. Viking longships were marvels of engineering, built to flex with the waves, their oak planks hewn from forests, sacred to the Norse gods. But this ship, it's got a personality, and you're pretty sure it's smirking at you, like it knows something you don't. You chuckle, imagining it gossiping with other ghost ships. This one's scared of a little mist. The clack-clack grows louder, and you reach the prow, where the dragon's head looms, its carved eyes glinting like they're sizing you up. You spot her, the seamstress, perched impossibly on the dragon's snout, her needle flashing as she ends a spectral sail that's unfurled into the mist. It's not attached to the mast. It floats, shimmering like a curtain of starlight. She doesn't look at you, but her voice drifts over, dry as old parchment. "Took you long enough," she says, and you grin, because apparently ghosts love to roast you. You climb onto a bench nearby, watching her work. Her hands move with a grace that's almost hypnotic, stitching threads that glow like liquid silver. The sail ripples, its patterns shifting waves into ravens, ravens into knots, knots into eyes that seem to watch you back. You lean closer, and she hands you a thread, cool and slick, like it's woven from the fjord itself. "Help," she says, and you fumble with the needle, feeling like you're auditioning for a spectral sewing circle. She sighs, muttering, "I've seen Draugr with better stitches," and you laugh, the sound swallowed by the mist. The sail's glow spreads, lighting the deck in soft blues and silvers, and you notice something odd, a tiny embroidered figure. On the fabric, a woman with a braid, holding a needle. It's her, you realize, and the sight sends a shiver down your spine, not from fear, but from the weight of her story. Lesser-known fact: Viking women sometimes wove their own likenesses to textiles, a kind of signature for their craft, though few survive today. This sail, though, it's a tapestry of her life, and you're helping her mend it. You work together, your stitch is clumsy but earnest, and the ship glides faster. The fjord narrowing again. The cliffs are closer now, their surfaces etched with faint carvings runes. Maybe, or just the wind's artistry. You wonder what this sail is for. Does it guide the ship to some spectral destination? Or is it her anchor, tying her to this world? Historians still wonder if Viking burial ships carried symbolic sails for the afterlife. The thought makes you pause, your needle hovering, and the seamstress glances at you, her eyes soft but sharp. "Keep going," she says, and you do. The clack-clack of her loom blending with the fjord's gentle lapping, pulling you deeper into the night. The stars are brighter now, the mist thinning to reveal a horizon that feels impossibly far, like the edge of a dream. Feel your eyelids droop, the ship sway rocking you like a child, and the sail's glow wraps you in warmth, like a blanket spun from light. You're safe here, even as the ship sails into the unknown, carrying you toward a story you're only beginning to understand. The longship drifts back toward the wharf, its sails furled but still glowing, like embers refusing to die. You're still holding the needle, your fingers cramped from stitching, but you don't mind. The air is cooler now, heavy with the scent of wet wood and seaweed, and the wharf appears through the mist, its lanterns flickering like old friends, welcoming you back. You step off the ship, the planks creaking under your boots, and feel a strange pull, like the wharf is reluctant to let you go. The seamstress is beside you, her form fainter now, her braid glinting faintly in the lantern light. You walk along the wharf, the clack-clack of her loom based by the soft crunch of gravel. Underfoot, the mist swirls, revealing shapes in the distance: grates, barrels, a fishing net draped like a spiderweb. You notice a small hut at the wharf's edge, its door ajar, light spilling out like an invitation. "There," she says, her voice a whisper that tickles your ear, and you head toward it, because apparently you're on a first-name basis with ghosts now. You chuckle, imagining telling this story at a coffee shop. "So, I followed a Viking ghost to a creepy hut. You know, normal stuff. The hut is small, its walls weathered oak, patched with moss and salt stains. You push the door open, and it creaks like it's auditioning for a horror movie. Inside, the air is warm, smelling of wool and herbs, with a faint tang of iron, like old blood. A loom dominates the room, its frame carved with runes that glow faintly, like they're shy about it. The seamstress gestures to a stool, and you sit, feeling like you've wandered into her living room uninvited. She doesn't seem to mind, though she's already at the loom, her needle flashing as she weaves a new piece of fabric. This one darker, almost black, with threads that shimmer like obsidian. You look around, noticing details: a basket of bone needles, a clay pot filled with dried lavender, a wooden comb etched with a raven. The hut feels lived in, like it's frozen in time, and you wonder who she was before she became a ghost. Viking women often ran households and businesses, managing trade while their husbands sailed, a fact carved into the sagas. But this woman, she's a mystery, her story stitched into the fabric she weaves. You spot a small cloth on a table, embroidered with a scene of a longship sailing under a crescent moon. It's exquisite, but one corner is frayed, like someone tried to erase it. You pick up the cloth, and she pauses, her eyes meeting yours. "Careful," she says, her voice soft but edged with warning. You set it down, feeling like you've touched something sacred. She hands you a thread, dark as the night sky, and you join her at the loom, your hands moving in sync with hers. The fabric grows under your fingers, its patterns shifting ships, stars, a lone figure sewing by firelight. I wonder if it's her story or yours. Historians still debate whether Viking textiles held magical properties, meant to protect or curse. This fabric feels like both, heavy with intent. The hut is quiet, save for the loom's rhythm and the distant lapping of the fjord. You notice a crack in the wall, letting in a sliver of moonlight, and it falls across the seamstress's face, making her look almost solid. She hums a melody that's half lullaby, half dirge, and you feel your shoulders relax, your breath slowing. "We're not bad at this," she says, and you grin, because coming from her, that's practically a knighthood. You make a clumsy stitch, and she sks, muttering, "My cat could do better." And he's dead. You laugh, the sound muffled by the hut's walls, and the world feels softer, like you're sinking into a warm bed. The fabric is nearly done. Its edges glowing faintly, and you feel a tug, like it's pulling you into its story. The wharf outside is silent, the lanterns dim, and you wonder if the night is holding its breath, waiting for what comes next. Your eyelids are heavy, the looms clack like a gentle heartbeat, and you lean back, the hut's warmth wrapping you like a cloak. You're safe here, even as the seamstress's story unfolds, pulling you deeper into her world. The hut's warmth lingers, but the air shifts, cooler now, as the seamstress leads you back to the wharf. The fabric you wove is draped over her arm, its dark threads glinting like a starless sky. You're still holding the bone needle, its carvings pressing into your palm, and you feel like you're carrying a piece of her with you. The wharf is quieter now, the lanterns barely flickering, their light swallowed by the mist. The longship waits, its dragon's head tilted slightly, like it's curious about what you've been up to. You smirk, imagining it whispering to the fjord. These two are up to no good. The seamstress stops at the water's edge, her eyes fixed on the ship. "It's time," she says, and you feel a chill, not from the air but from the weight of her words. She hands you the fabric, and it's heavier than it looks, like it's woven with memories. Follow her onto the ship, the deck creaking under your boots, and she spreads the fabric across the mast. Weight catches the starlight and glows faintly, like a shadow made of light. You notice a pattern in the weaver woman sewing, surrounded by ravens, their wings outstretched like they're guarding her. You sit on a bench, the wood worn smooth, and watch as she begins to stitch the fabric to the sail. Her needle moves faster now, almost frantic, and you realize this is no ordinary task. The sail hums, its glow pulsing in time with her stitches, and the ship trembles, like it's waking up. Viking burials often included ships sent to sea with dead, their sails raised to carry them to the afterlife. But this ship, it's hers, and you're starting to suspect she's not just mending it for fun. You pick up a thread she drops, dark and slick, and help her stitch, your hands steadier now, like you're learning her rhythm. She glances at you, her expression softer, and says, "You're getting better. Don't let it go to your head." You laugh, the sound echoing across the deck, and she smirks, her braid glinting as she turns back to her work. The sail is growing, its patterns shifting ravens into waves, waves into eyes, eyes into runes that pulse like heartbeats. You notice a tiny detail, a single red thread, woven into the fabric, glowing faintly like a drop of blood. Lesser known fact, Viking weavers sometimes used red thread to mark sacred textiles, a practice rarely mentioned in sagas. The ship moves again, gliding through the fjord, and the mist parts to reveal a sky ablaze with stars. You feel the sails hum in your bones, like it's singing to you, and you wonder what it's trying to say. Is it her story, her curse, or something older, tied to the fjord itself? Historians still wonder if Viking women wove spells into their textiles, meant to bind or protect. Seamstress doesn't answer, but her eyes are distant, like she's seeing something beyond the stars. You keep stitching, the needle warm in your hand, and the ship feels alive, its timbers creaking like they're whispering her name. The air is heavy with salt and cedar, and you feel your eyelids droop. The sails glow, wrapping you in light. You lean back, the deck cool against your skin, and the seamstress hums, her melody weaving through the night. You're safe here, even as the ship sails deeper into her story, pulling you toward a truth you're not sure you're ready to face. The fjord is quiet, The stars bright, and you drift, the world softening around you like a dream you don't want to leave. The longship slices through the fjord, its prow parting the mist like a knife through silk. You're still on the deck, the bone needle warm in your hand, its carvings pressing into your skin like a secret you're not sure you want to know. The sail above glows softly, its patterns ravens, waves, eyes shifting in a dance that makes your head spin, like staring at a kaleidoscope too long. The seamstress sits beside you, her hands steady as she weaves a new thread into the sail. This one silver, glinting like frost under moonlight. The air is thick with salt and cedar, but there's something else now, a faint metallic tang, like old coins left in the rain. You lean back, the deck cool against your spine, and watch the fjord's cliffs glide past, their shapes softened by mist, like giants draped in gossamer. The ship moves faster, but it's not urgent, more like a horse trotting home for a long day. You feel the rhythm in your chest, a gentle thrum that syncs with the sail's hum, lulling you into a half-dream, where the stars seem to whisper your name. You chuckle, imagining them gossiping. Who let this one on a ghost ship? Amateur hour. Thought makes you relax, your shoulders loosening as you settle deeper into the bench. The seamstress hands you a thread, cool and slick, like it's spun from the fjord itself. Weave, she says, her voice soft but firm, like a teacher who knows you're daydreaming. You fumble with the needle, your stitches clumsy but earnest, and she sighs, muttering, "I've seen drunk sailors do better." Grin, because her sass is starting to feel like a badge of honor. You work together, the looms clack-clack blending with the water's lapping, and the sail grows under your hands, its patterns shifting faster now eyes into knots, knots into ravens, ravens into spirals that seem to pulse with intent. You notice a tiny detail, a single gold thread woven into the sail, glowing faintly, like a vein of sunlight trapped in the fabric. Viking weavers used gold threads in their finest textiles, a status symbol for the elite, often found in burial hoards. But this thread, it feels alive, like it's carrying a piece of her soul. You glance at her, and her eyes are distant, fixed on the horizon, where the mist swirls like a curtain about to part. You wonder what she's seeing her past, a future, or something else, something the sail is trying to tell you both. The ship turns, following a bend in the fjord, and the cliffs draw closer, their surfaces etched with faint carving runes, maybe, or just the wind's idle doodles. You lean over the rail, the water below reflecting the stars like a shattered mirror, and you feel a tug, like the sail is pulling you into its story. Viking sagas often spoke of fate as a woven tapestry, each thread a choice or a destiny. This sail, though, feels like it's weaving itself, and you're just along for the ride. Historians still wonder if Viking weavers believe their craft could shape the future. You keep weaving, the needle moving smoother now, like you're learning her rhythm. The air grows warmer, despite the mist, and you smell something sweet, like honeyed bread left on a hearth. The seamstress hums, a melody that's half lullaby, half warning, and you feel your eyelids droop, the ship's sway rocking you like a cradle. You make a clumsy stitch, and she sks, muttering, "My raven could do better, and he's got one eye." You laugh, the sound swallowed by the fjord, and the world feels softer, like you're sinking into a warm bed. Sail's glow wraps you in light, and you're safe, even as the ship sails deeper into the unknown, carrying you toward a truth you can only guess at. The fjord narrows, the cliffs looming like silent sentinels, and the longship slows, as if hesitant to disturb the night. You're still weaving, the bone needle familiar now, its weight grounding you, as the sail's glow pulses brighter, like a heartbeat you can see. The seamstress is beside you, her hands flashing as she stitches, her braid glinting with silver, beads that catch the starlight. The air is heavy with salt and pine, but there's a new scent now, sharp and briny, like a storm brewing just out of sight. You glance at the horizon, where the mist swirls thicker, and you swear you see shapes waves, maybe, or something alive, Writhing in the fog, the ship lurches, a sudden jolt that sends you grabbing the rail. The seamstress doesn't flinch, her needle steady, but her eyes narrow, like she's expecting trouble. "Hold fast," she says, her voice calm but edged, like a blade hidden in a smile. You nod, because arguing with a ghost in the middle of a spectral storm seems like a bad life choice. You chuckle, imagining explaining this to your friends. "So, I rode out a ghost storm with a Viking seamstress." Pass the coffee. The thought makes you grin, easing the tension in your chest as you brace against the deck. The wind picks up, howling through the fjord, and the sail snaps taut, its patterns shifting worldly ravens into waves, waves into eyes, eyes into storms that seem to roar. You notice a tear in the fabric, small but jagged, like a wound, and the seamstress's hands move faster, stitching it closed with a thread that glows like lightning. Viking ships were built to withstand brutal storms, their flexible hulls designed to dance with the waves, a fact proven by surviving wrecks like the ghosted ship. But this storm, it's not natural, and the tear in the sail feels like it's tearing at her, too. You grab a thread she tosses you, dark as the night sky, and help her mend the tear. Your stitch is surer now, like you're channeling her skill. The ship rocks harder, the deck tilting, and you hear a low rumble, like thunder trapped in the fjord. The seamstress's voice cuts through it, singing now, a chant that feels ancient, like it's holding the storm at bay. You join in, humming clumsily, and she glances at you, her smirk faint but approving. "Not bad," she says, and you feel like you've just won Viking Idol. The storm grows wilder, the mist swirling into shapes' faces, maybe, or hands reaching from the water. You wonder if they're spirits, drawn to the sail's glow, or just your imagination running wild, like when you see faces in the clouds. The seamstress doesn't stop, her needle flashing like a tiny star, and you keep stitching, the sails hum vibrating in your bones. Lesser-known fact: Viking sailors believed storms were caused by angry spirits, sometimes appeased with offerings of woven cloth. This sail, though, feels like it's fighting back, its light pushing against the dark. The ship steadies, the storm's roar fading to a grumble, and the fjord calms, the cliffs now silent under a sky clearing of mist. You lean back, exhausted, the needle still in your hand, and the seamstress looks at you, her eyes softer now, like she's grateful. Wonder what this storm was: her memory, her curse, or something older, tied to the fjord itself. Historians still debate whether Viking rituals could calm the sea. The sail's glow dims, wrapping you in a gentle warmth, and you feel your breath slow, the deck sway rocking you like a lullaby. You're safe, even as the ship glides deeper into her story. The night's soft and quiet around you. The storm has passed, leaving the fjord mirror smooth, reflecting a sky ablaze with stars. You're slumped on the deck, the bone needle loose in your hand, the sail above glowing faintly, like a lantern turned low. The seamstress is gone again, but her presence lingers, like the echo of her chant, still humming in your ears. The air is cool, scented with damp moss, and the faint hint of smoke, like a distant fire someone forgot to put out. You stand, stretching, and notice a shadow moving across the deck, sharp and angular, like a bird's wing. You look up, and there it is, a raven, perched on the mast, its eyes glinting like polished jets. Cocks its head, staring at you, and you swear it's judging your stitching skills. You chuckle, imagining it calling complaints to the seamstress. "This one's hopeless. Get me a better apprentice." The raven flaps its wings, and you notice something odd. Its shadow is too large, stretching across the sail, and it's not moving right, like it's not entirely tethered to the bird. You blink, and the shadow shifts, forming a shape, a woman sewing, her needle flashing in the dark. The raven caws, sharp and insistent, and flies toward the sail, landing on a section you hadn't noticed before, a patch of cloth, darker than the rest, stitched with runes that pulse faintly, like a warning. You step closer, the deck creaking, and the air grows colder, the scent of smoke stronger now, like a pyre burning just out of sight. Viking mythology revered ravens as messengers of Odin, carrying secrets between worlds. This one, it's definitely up to something, and you're not sure you want to know what. You reach out, your fingers brushing the sail, and the runes flare, bright enough to make you wince. The raven calls again, louder, and you hear her voice, the seamstress, whispering. Closer, you squint, and the runes start to make sense, not as words, but as images. Images, a story unfolding through them. You see a woman, her hands threading a needle through glowing fabric, her shadow stretching long and thin across a ship's deck. The raven's eyes glint, watching you, and you feel a chill, like the air itself is holding its breath. You pull your hand back, heart pounding, and the raven flaps its wings, circling above before landing on your shoulder. Its weight is light but solid, and its beak nudges your ear, like it's telling you to pay attention. You look at the sail again, and the runes are clearer now, forming a pattern, a name, maybe, or a curse. Lesser known fact, Viking runes were sometimes carved to bind spirits, a practice hinted at in obscure sagas. This sailcloth feels like one of those, heavy with intent, its runes glowing with a light that's not quite natural. The seamstress appears beside you, her form flickering, like a flame. You see it now, she says, not a question, and you nod, because you do. The sail's runes tell a story of loss, of promises broken, of a life left unfinished. You wonder if they're hers, or if she's their keeper, historian still. Wonder if Viking women used runes in their weaving to cast spells. The raven calls softly, almost approvingly, and you feel a strange calm, like you're part of something bigger. You pick up the needle again, and the seamstress guides your hand, helping you stitch a rune into the sail. Slow work, your fingers clumsy, but the rune takes shape, glowing faintly as it joins the others. The raven watches, tilting its head, and you swear it smirks. Show off, you mutter, and the seamstress laughs, a sound like wind chimes. In the mist, the ship glides on, the fjord's cliffs fading into the distance, and the sail's glow wraps you in warmth, like a blanket made of light. Your eyelids grow heavy, the ravens weight a gentle anchor on your shoulder. The seamstress hums, her melody weaving through the night, and the deck sways, rocking you like a cradle. The stars are brighter now, the mist thinning, and you feel safe, even as the sail's runes pulse with secrets you're not sure you want to know. The world softens, the fjord's lapping a quiet lullaby, and you drift, carried by the ship into a dream where ravens and seamstresses guard the night. The longship drifts into a wider stretch of the fjord, where the water lies still, a black mirror cradling the stars. You're slumped against the mast, the bone needle still in your hand, its carvings warm from your grip, like it's grown fond of you. The raven's gone, its shadow lingering faintly on the sail, a dark smudge that seems to watch you. Seamstress is nearby, her form steadier now, her braid glinting as she weaves a new thread into the sail. This one deep blue, like the heart of the night. The air smells of damp wood, and something sweeter, like crushed berries left to ferment, and you feel the ship's gentle sway, rocking you like a hammock strung between dreams. You stand, stretching, and notice the fjord has changed. The cliffs are gone, replaced by rolling hills, dusted with frost, their outlines soft under the starlight. You're not sure how you got here, but the ship feels right, like it knows where it's going. You glance at the seamstress, and she's coming again, her melody weaving through the air, pulling you toward the shore. You see lights tiny, flickering, like fireflies caught in a net, and realize it's a village, nestled at the fjord's edge, its thatched roofs glowing faintly, as if lit from within. You step onto the deck, your boots soft on the wood, and the ship glides closer, mooring itself without a sound. The seamstress gestures toward the shore, her eyes glinting with something like mischief. "Go on," she says, her voice dry as old leaves. You chuckle, imagining telling this story over breakfast. "So, I wandered a Viking ghost village at midnight, more pancakes." The thought makes you grin, easing the knot in your chest as you step onto the wharf, the planks creaking like they're greeting you. The village is quiet, save for the crackle of distant fires and the faint clack-clack of a loom echoing from somewhere deep within. Walk toward the lights, passing wooden huts with carved door frames, their runes glowing faintly, like they're shy about it. Viking villages were often small, tight-knit communities where women held significant power, managing homes and trade, a fact woven into the sagas. This village, though, it's empty, or seems to be. Its streets lined with shadows that shift when you're not looking. You reach a central square, where a fire pit glows, its embers pulsing like tiny hearts. A table nearby holds wooden bowls, some still filled with porridge, as if the villagers vanished mid-meal. You notice a cloth draped over a bench, embroidered with ravens and waves, its edges frayed like the sails. Lesser-known fact, Viking women sometimes left offerings of woven cloth at sacred sites, believing they carried prayers to the gods. This cloth feels like one of those, heavy with intent, and you wonder if it's hers. You pick it up, and the seamstress appears beside you, her needle flashing as she stitches the air, like she's weaving the night itself. "Careful," she says, her tone half warning, half tease. You set the cloth down, feeling like you've touched something sacred. She leads you to a hut, its door ajar, and inside, a loom sits, its threads glowing like the sail. You sit, the needle familiar in your hand, and start weaving, the clack-clack sensing with your breath. The village is silent, the fire pits glow warm against your skin, and you wonder what happened to the system here, what left this place so still. Was it a curse, a raid, or something the seamstress herself wove into being? Historians still ponder why some Viking settlements were abandoned overnight, their hearths left burning. You keep weaving, the loom's rhythm pulling you deeper, and the seamstress hums, her melody soft but heavy, like a secret shared in whispers. Your stitches are surer now, the cloth growing under your hands, its patterns ravens, waves, alone, figures sewing mirroring the sails. You glance outside, and the village feels alive, its shadows moving like dancers in the firelight. I swear you hear laughter, faint and fleeting, like a memory caught in the wind. The seamstress doesn't look up, but her smile is faint, like she knows what you're hearing. "Keep going," she says, and you do, the needle warm, the cloth soft, like you're weaving a dream. Your eyelids droop, the fire pits glow wrapping you in warmth, and the village fades, the fjords lapping a gentle lullaby. You're safe, even as the night pulls you deeper into her story, the loom's rhythm carrying you towards sleep. The village fades behind you, its violet glow swallowed by the mist as the longship glides back into the fjord. You're back on the deck, the bone needle still in your hand, the sail above pulsing with a light that feels like it's breathing. Seamstress sits across from you, her hands steady as she stitches a new thread into the sail. This one black as charcoal, glinting with flecks of silver. The air is cool, heavy with salt and the faint scent of smoke, like the villages. Fire pit followed you, the ship sways, rocking you gently, and you feel your breath slow, like you're sinking into a warm pool. You lean against the mast, watching the fjord's water ripple, reflecting stars that seem to wink at you. The seamstress's needle flashes, and you notice a tear in the sail, larger than before, its edges ragged like a wound. She's focused, her brow furrowed, and you realize this isn't just mending, it's a battle. You pick up a thread she drops, dark and heavy, and help her stitch, your hands moving in sync with hers. The sail hums, its patterns shifting waves into eyes, eyes into ravens, ravens into runes that pulse like heartbeats. You notice a detail, a single red bead woven into the sail, glowing faintly, like a drop of blood caught in the fabric. Viking women used beads to adorn their textiles, often as symbols of protection, a practice found in burial finds. This bead, though, feels different, like it's holding a secret. You glance at the seamstress, and her eyes are distant, fixed on the here. It's her curse, she says, her voice barely a whisper, and you freeze. Her curse, the sails, or something older, tied to the ship itself. You keep stitching, the needle warm in your hand, and the sails grows louder, vibrating. In your chest, the fjord narrows, the cliffs closing in, their surfaces etched with faint shapes, runes, maybe, or faces watching from the stone. Wonder if they're spirits, drawn to the sail's glow, or just your imagination, like seeing shapes in the clouds. Historians still debate whether Viking curses were real, or just stories to scare disobedient kids. This sail, though, feels like proof. Its weight pulling at you, like it's trying to tell you something. The seamstress's chant returns, low and mournful, and you hum along, your voice clumsy but earnest. She glances at you, her smirk faint but warm. "You're not hopeless," she says, and you grin, because coming from her, that's practically a love letter. You make a clumsy stitch, and she sks, muttering, "My looms seem better from a drunk goat." You laugh, the sound echoing across the deck, and the world feels softer, like you're wrapped in a blanket of starlight. The tear is smaller now, the sails glow brighter, and the ship feels alive, its timbers creaking like they're whispering her name. You lean back, the deck cool against your skin, and the fjord's lapping blends with the sail's hum, a lullaby that pulls you deeper. You wonder what the curse is, why she's bound to this ship, this sail, this endless task. The stars are bright, the mist thinning, and you feel safe, even as the sail's runes pulse with secrets, carrying you toward a truth you're not sure you're ready for. The fjord opens wide again, the cliffs retreating, and the night sky explodes with color green and purple ribbons of light, twisting like threads in a loom, the northern lights. You're sprawled on the deck, the bone needle loose in your hand, the sail above glowing in sync with the auroras, its runes dancing like they're alive. The seamstress is beside you, her needle flashing faster now, stitching the sail with a thread that shimmers like the lights above. The air is crisp, scented with pine, and a faint hint of ozone, like the sky itself is electric. You sit up, mesmerized by the auroras, their colors painting the fjord in hues that feel impossible, like a dream you're not sure you're having. The seamstress doesn't look up, but her needle glows, matching the sky's rhythm, and you realize she's weaving the auroras into the sail. You pick up a thread she hands you, green as the lights, and join her. Your stitch is surer now, like you're part of her magic. Sail hums, its patterns shifting ravens into waves, waves into eyes, eyes into lights that pulse like the auroras. You notice a detail, a tiny star embroidered into the sail, glowing brighter than the rest, like it's guiding the ship. Viking navigators used the stars to cross oceans, a fact etched into their sagas and confirmed by ancient tools like the sunstone. The star, though, feels personal, like it's hers, a beacon she's been following for centuries. You glance at her, and her eyes are fixed on the sky, her face soft, almost wistful. "It remembers," she says, and you wonder what the sail, the ship, or her, trapped in this endless task. The auroras pulse, their light washing over the deck, and you feel the ship tremble, like it's alive, responding to the sky. You keep stitching, the needle warm, the sails vibrating in your bones. The seamstress's chant grows louder, a melody that feels like it's calling the lights down, and you hum along, your voice blending with hers. She smirks, muttering, "Don't quit your day job," and you laugh, the sound swallowed by the fjord's quiet. The sail is nearly whole now, its tear almost gone, and you wonder what happens when it's done. Will she be free, or is the curse bigger, tied to the auroras themselves? Historians still wonder if the Vikings saw the northern lights as messages from the gods. This sail feels like one, its glow wrapping you in warmth, like a blanket spun from light. The ship glides on, the fjord calm, and your eyelids grow heavy, the auroras dance lulling you toward sleep. You lean back, the deck cool, the seamstresses hum a gentle anchor, and you're safe, even as the night pulls you deeper into her story, the lights above guiding you toward something unspoken. The northern lights fade, leaving the fjord draped in a velvet darkness, the stars sharp as pins against the sky. Sprawled on the longship's deck, the bone needle still in your hand, its carvings warm from your grip, like it's grown accustomed to you. The sail above glows faintly, its runes pulsing in time with your breath, and the seamstress sits nearby, her needle flashing as she weaves a thread that shimmers like frost. The air is cool, heavy with salt and the faint scent of roasted barley, like a feast left behind. The ship glides smoothly, its prow cutting through the water like a whispered promise, and you feel the deck's gentle sway, rocking you like a cradle strung between dreams. You sit up, rubbing your eyes, and notice the fjord has narrowed again, its cliffs looming closer, their surfaces etched with shadows that seem to shift when you blink. The seamstress gestures toward the shore, where lights flicker torches, maybe, all hearts glowing through the mist. There, she says, her voice dry as old parchment, and you grin, because following a ghost's directions feels like signing up for a haunted field trip. Chuckle, imagining texting your friends, hanging out at a Viking ghost party. Send help. The thought eases the tension in your chest as the ship moors itself, silent as a shadow. At a weathered wharf, you step onto the planks. There, it's slick with sea spray, and the air grows warmer, carrying the scent of wood smoke and mead. The lights lead to a long house, its roof thatched with straw that glints like gold under the starlight. You push the door open, and it creaks, welcoming you into a hall alive with shadows. Tables line the room, laden with wooden platters of bread, cheese, and fish, as if the feast was abandoned mid-bite. Viking feasts were central to their culture, often lasting days, with women organizing the food and mead, a fact celebrated in sagas. This feast, though, silent, the air heavy with the weight of absence. You notice a cloth draped over a bench, embroidered with ravens and waves, its edges glowing faintly, like the sail. Lesser-known fact, Viking women sometimes wove cloths for feasts, offering them to guests as tokens of honor. This one feels different, like it's holding a memory, and you reach for it, your fingers brushing its soft weave. Seamstress appears beside you, her form flickering, and she shakes her head. Not yet, she says, her tone half warning, half tease. You pull your hand back, feeling like you've been caught sneaking dessert. She leads you to a corner, where a loom sits, its threads shimmering like the auroras you saw earlier. You sit, the needle familiar in your hand, and start weaving, the clack-clack blending with the distant crackle of a hearth. The cloth grows, its patterns mirroring the sail ravens, waves, a lone figure sewing by firelight. Wonder whose story this is, hers, or the village's, or maybe yours, woven into this strange night. Historians still ponder whether Viking feasts were rituals to appease spirits. This hall feels like one, its silence heavy with unspoken tales. The seamstress hums, her melody soft but urgent, and you hum along, your voice clumsy but earnest. She smirks, muttering, "My dog could sing better, and he's been dead for centuries." You laugh, the sound echoing in the hall, and the world feels softer, like you're sinking into a warm bed. The cloth is nearly done, its glow wrapping you in light, and you feel your eyelids droop, the heart's warmth a gentle embrace. You're safe, even as the feast shadows dance, pulling you deeper into a story you're only beginning to understand. The long house fades behind you, its warmth lingering as the longship pulls away from the wharf, gliding back into the fjord's dark embrace. You're on the deck, the bone needle in your hand, its weight grounding you as the sail above pulses with a soft, silvery light. The seamstress is beside you, her hands steady as she stitches a new thread into the sail. This one dark as slate, flecked with gold that catches the starlight. The air is crisp, scented with pine, and a faint tang of iron, like a blade left in the rain. The ship sways gently, its rhythm syncing with your breath, and you feel the night settle around you, like a cloak spun from shadows. You lean against the rail, watching the fjord's water ripple, reflecting stars that seem to whisper secrets. The sail's runes are clearer now, their shapes forming a story, a woman, a ship, a curse woven into the fabric. You notice a detail, a single rune, larger than the rest, glowing brighter, like a beacon. You trace it with your finger, and it's warm, almost alive, like it's trying to speak. Viking runes were often carved to tell stories or cast spells, their meanings layered with intent. This rune, though, it feels personal, like it's hers, and you wonder what it means, her name, her fate, or something darker, binding her to this ship. The seamstress glances at you, her eyes sharp but soft, like she knows what you're thinking. "Read it," she says, her voice dry as old wood, and you shrug, because your Old Norse is about as good as your interpretive dance. She smirks, muttering, "I've seen sheep with better rune skills." You laugh, the sound swallowed by the fjord, and pick up a thread she hands you, cool and slick, like it's woven from the night itself. You start stitching, your hands surer now, the needle moving in sync with hers. The sail hums its runes, shifting waves into ravens, ravens into eyes, eyes into runes that pulse like heartbeats. You notice a tear, small but jagged, and you help her mend it, your stitches blending with hers. The ship trembles, like it's alive, and you feel a pull, like the sail is drawing you into its story. Historians still debate whether Viking runes held magical power, meant to bind or protect. This sail feels like both. Its glow heavy with intent, like it's guarding a secret you're not ready to know. The fjord widens, the cliffs retreating, and the stars burn brighter, their light washing over the deck. You lean back, the wood cool against your skin, and the seamstress hums, her melody weaving through the night, pulling you deeper. You make a clumsy stitch, and she sks, muttering, "My raven's got better aim, and he's half blind." You grin, because her sass is starting to feel like home. The sail's glow wraps you in warmth, and you feel your eyelids droop. The fjord's lapping a gentle lullaby. You're safe, even as the runes pulse with secrets, carrying you toward a truth you can only guess at. The longship glides deeper into the fjord, its prow cutting through the mist like a needle through cloth. You're still at the rail, the bone needle warm in your hand, the sail above glowing brighter now, its runes almost blinding. The seamstress is beside you, her hands moving faster, stitching the final edges of the sail with a thread that shimmers like molten silver. The air is heavy with salt and cedar, but there's something else now, a faint sweetness, like honey. Left on a hearth, the ship feels alive, its timbers creaking like they're whispering her name, and you feel the deck sway, rocking you like a child in a cradle. You notice the sail is nearly complete, its tier almost gone, the runes forming, a pattern that feels like a map, a journey, a life, a curse. You trace one with your finger, and it pulses, warm and alive, like it's trying to tell you something. The seamstress's eyes are fixed on the sail, her face tense, like she's racing against time. "One more," she says, her voice soft, but urgent, and you nod, because you know this is it, the final stitch, the moment her task ends. You pick up a thread, bright as the stars, and help her, your hands steady now, like you've been weaving with her for centuries. The sail hums louder, its glow spreading to the mast, the ropes, the entire ship. You notice a detail, a single red thread woven into the sail's edge, glowing faintly, like a heartbeat trapped in the fabric. Viking women sometimes used red thread to mark sacred textiles, a practice hinted at in burial finds. This thread, though, feels like her anchor, tying her to this ship, this curse. You wonder what happens when the sail is done. Will she be free? Or is the curse bigger, woven into the fjord itself? Historians still ponder whether Viking rituals could break spiritual bonds. The ship trembles, the fjord narrowing, and you feel a pull, like the sail is calling you to finish its story. The seamstress's chant grows louder, a melody that feels like it's holding the night together, and you hum along, your voice blending with hers. She glances at you, her smirk faint but warm. "Not bad," she says, and you grin, because coming from her, that's practically a crown. You make a final stitch, and the sail flares. Its light washing over the deck, wrapping you in warmth. The fjord is calm, the stars bright, and you lean back, the deck cool against your skin. The seamstress's hum is a lullaby now, soft and slow, and you feel your eyelids droop. The sails glow a blanket of light. You're safe, even as the ship glides toward a sacred place, the final stitch pulling you deeper into a story, toward a moment you're not sure you're ready for. The world softens, the fjord's lapping a gentle rhythm, and you drift, carried by the night into a dream where sails and spirits weave together. The longship glides into a sacred fjord, its waters so still they seem to hold the stars captive. Or slumped against the mast, the bone needle warm in your hand, its carvings now as familiar as your own skin. The sail above glows with a fierce, steady light, its runes pulsing like a heartbeat, their patterns ravens, waves, eyes settled. Now, as if they've found their final shape, seamstress is beside you, her hands still, her needle resting in her lap, its silver thread glinting like a frozen tear. The air is heavy with salt and pine, but there's a new scent, faint and floral, like wildflowers blooming in the dark. The ship sways gently, rocking you like a lullaby, and you feel the night wrap around you, soft as a woven cloak. You stand, your legs shaky from hours at the loom, and peer over the rail. The fjord is narrow here, its cliffs towering, their surfaces carved with runes that glow faintly, mirroring the sails. The water reflects a sky ablaze with stars, and you swear you see shapes in the ripples' faces, maybe, or hands reaching up, drawn to the sail's light. Seamstress rises, her form sharper now, almost solid, and she gestures toward the shore, where a rocky outcrop juts into the fjord, crowned with a single, gnarled tree. There, she says, her voice soft but heavy, like a stone dropped. To still water. You chuckle, imagining telling this story over a campfire. So, I sailed to a sacred fjord with a ghost. More marshmallows. The thought makes you grin, easing the weight in your chest as the ship moors itself, silent as a shadow, against the outcrop. You step onto the stone, its surface cold and slick, and the air grows warmer, carrying the scent of moss and something sweeter, like honeyed mead left on an altar. The seamstress leads you toward the tree, its branches twisted like an old woman's fingers, and you notice a cloth draped over its roots, embroidered with ravens and stars, its edges glowing like the sail dot. Viking burial sites were often chosen for their spiritual significance, placed near water or sacred trees, a fact etched into archaeological records. This outcrop, though, feels like more than a grave. It's a threshold, a place where the world thins. You notice a detail, a single bone needle tucked into the cloth, identical to yours, its carvings glowing faintly, like it's waiting for you. Lesser known fact, Viking women sometimes left needles at sacred sites, offerings to the spirits of their craft. This needle feels like hers, a piece of her soul left behind. You reach for it, but she stops you, her hand cold, but gentle. Not yet, she says, her eyes fixed on the sail, now draped across the tree like a shroud. You wonder what this place is, her resting place, her prison. Historians still debate whether Viking women wove offerings to free-bound spirits. The sail's runes pulse, their light washing over you, and you feel a pull, like the fjord itself, calling you to finish her task. You pick up your needle, and she nods, her braid glinting as she starts to weave, her hands moving in a rhythm that feels like a farewell. You join her, stitching the sail's final edge, the thread warm and bright, like it's spun from the stars. Her hum is soft now, a melody that feels like letting go, and you hum along, your voice blending with hers. She smirks, muttering, "My Raven sings better," and he's tone deaf. You laugh, the sound echoing across the fjord, and the world feels softer, like you're sinking into a warm bed. The sail's glow wraps you in light, and you're safe, even as the tree's branches sway, pulling you deeper into her final farewell. The sacred fjord holds you in its quiet embrace, the longship moored against the rocky outcrop, its sail now draped fully over the gnarled tree. glowing like a beacon in the dark. Standing beside the seamstress, the bone needle still in your hand, its warmth grounding you with the rune's pulse, their light softening to a gentle shimmer. The air is cool, scented with damp stone and wild flowers, and you feel the fjord's stillness, like the world is pausing to watch. The seamstress's hands are still, her needle resting on the sail, and her eyes are distant, fixed on the tree, as if seeing something beyond the stars. You step closer to the tree, its roots curling into the stone-like fingers gripping a secret. The sail's runes are clearer now, forming a story: a woman sewing, a ship sailing, a curse binding her to an endless task. You notice a detail, a single silver bead woven into the sail, glowing faintly, like a tear caught in the fabric. Viking women used beads to adorn their textiles, often as symbols of memory, a practice found in burial hoards. This bead feels like hers, a piece of her heart left behind, and you wonder if it's the key to her release. You reach for the sail, your fingers brushing its glowing threads, and the seamstress's voice cuts through the silence. "Finish it," she says, her tone soft but urgent, like a mother sending you off to bed. You chuckle, imagining explaining this to a therapist. "So, I helped a Viking ghost finish her cursed sail." Normal stuff. The thought makes you grin, easing the weight in your chest as you pick up a thread, bright as moonlight, and start stitching. Your hands steady now, like you've been her apprentice for centuries. The sail hums, its runes settling into a final pattern: ravens into waves, waves into eyes, eyes into a single figure, her, sewing under starlight. The tree trembles, its branches swaying, and you feel a pull, like the fjord itself is breathing with you. Viking rituals often involve trees as gateways to the spirit world, a belief etched into their myths. This tree, though, feels like her anchor, tying her to this place, this curse. Historians still wonder if such rituals could free a bound soul. You stitch faster, the needle warm, the sail's glow spreading to the stone, the water, the sky. The seamstress's hum is a whisper now, barely audible, and you hum along, your voice blending with hers. She glances at you, her smirk faint but warm. "You're not terrible," she says, and you grin, because coming from her, that's practically a hug. Make a final stitch, and the sail flares, its light washing over the fjord, wrapping you in warmth. The tree's branches still, the air grows softer, and you feel your eyelids droop. The fjord's lapping a gentle lullaby. You're safe. Even as the sail's glow fades, the seamstress's form flickering like a dying flame, pulling you toward the end of her story. The fjord is silent now, the sail's glow dimming to a soft shimmer, like embers fading in a hearth. You're still beside the tree, the bone needle loose in your hand. Its carvings cool now, like it's done its work. The seamstress stands before the sail, her form faint, almost transparent, her braid barely glinting in the starlight. The air is warm, scented with moss and a faint hint of lavender, like a memory of her hut. The longship waits, its dragon's head tilted slightly, as if bowing to her, and you feel the fjord's stillness, like the world is holding its breath for her. You step back, the stone cold under your boots, and watch as she touches the sail, her fingers tracing its runes one last time. The patterns are still ravens, waves, eyes, her frozen in their final shape, a story complete. You notice a detail, a single red thread, woven into the sail's edge, no longer glowing, like it's finally at rest. Viking women believed red threads could bind spirits to the living world, a practice whispered in sagas. This thread, though, feels like it's letting go, releasing her from her endless task. She turns to you, her eyes soft, almost human, and smiles, a real smile, not her usual smirk. "You did well," she says, her voice barely a whisper, like wind over water. You chuckle, imagining telling this story at a bar. "So, I freed a Viking ghost with my terrible sewing." Another round. The thought makes you grin, easing the ache in your chest as you realize this is goodbye. You wonder if she's free now, or if the fjord will hold her forever. Historians still debate whether Viking spirits could be released through ritual offerings. The sail trembles, its light fading completely, and the seamstress's form begins to dissolve, like mist burning off in the morning sun. The loom behind her is silent, its thread still, and you feel a pang, like losing a friend you didn't know you had. You set the needle down, placing it gently on the stone, and the tree's branches sway, as if whispering farewell. The fjord is calm, the stars bright, and you feel your breath slow, the world softening around you like a dream you're ready to leave. You sit on the stone, the sail now just cloth, its runes dark, its magic spent, the seamstress is gone, but her melody lingers, a faint hum in the air, like a lullaby you'll never forget. You lean back, the stone cool against your skin, and the fjord's lapping blends with the night's quiet, pulling you towards sleep. You're safe, even as the longship waits, its dragon's head silent, the sated fjord holding you in its gentle embrace. The fjord's dawn is soft, a pale blush creeping over the cliffs, but the mist lingers, curling around you like a cat reluctant to leave your side. You're still on the rocky outcrop, the longship moored behind you, its dragon's head silent, as if mourning the seamstress's departure. The bone needle rests in your hand, cool now, its carvings faded, like it spent its magic. The air carries a faint scent of damp stone and lavender, a whisper of her presence, and you feel the fjord's quiet, its waters lapping gently, like a heartbeat slowing to rest. You stand, your boots scuffing the stone, and notice the sail, still draped over the gnarled tree, its runes dark, but shimmering faintly, as if unwilling to let her go completely. You step toward the shore, where the mist thickens, swirling into shapes, figures, maybe, or just your imagination playing tricks, like seeing faces in a campfire's smoke. A voice echoes, faint but clear, threading through the fog like a thread through cloth. Follow, it says, and you do, because apparently you're still taking orders from a ghost who's already left. You chuckle, imagining telling this story at a coffee shop. So, I chased a Viking ghost's voice through the fog. More cream. The thought makes you grin, easing the chill in your bones as you walk along the fjord's edge, the water reflecting a sky turning pink and gold. The path is narrow, lined with stones etched with runes that glow faintly, like embers. Refusing to die, you trace one with your finger, and it's warm, pulsing under your touch, like it's trying to tell you something. Viking runes were often carved to guide travelers, their meanings etched into stones along trade routes, a fact found in archaeological records. These runes, though, feel personal, like they're hers, leading you somewhere she needs you to see. You follow the path, the mist parting just enough to reveal a clearing, where a single stone stands, tall and weathered, its surface carved with a figure sewing under starlight. You kneel beside it, the needle heavy in your pocket, and her voice comes again, softer now, like a sigh. Closer, she says, and you squint, noticing a detail, a tiny thread, red as blood, woven into the stone's carving, glowing faintly, like a heartbeat trapped in rock. Lesser-known fact, Viking women sometimes left threads at sacred stones, offerings to bind their stories to the land. This thread feels like hers, a piece of her soul lingering in the mist. You wonder if she's truly gone, or if the fjord is holding her, keeping her voice alive. Historians still ponder whether Viking spirits could linger through offerings left behind. You stand, the mist swirling around you, and her voice hums, a melody that feels like a memory you've always known. You hum along, your voice clumsy, but earnest, and the runes on the stone pulse, their light wrapping you in warmth, like a blanket spun from dawn. The fjord is quiet, the air soft, and you feel your eyelids droop, the waters lapping a gentle lullaby. You're safe, even as her voice pulls you deeper, guiding you through the fog toward a truth you're not sure you're ready to find. The mist thins, revealing a grassy slope dotted with wildflowers, their petals glinting like stars caught in dawn. You're still clutching the bone needle, its weight grounding you as you follow the path from the stone, her voice a faint hum in the air. Like a song, won't remember. The fjord stretches beside you, its waters calm, reflecting. A sky now streaked with gold and pink, like a painting left unfinished. The air is crisp, scented with damp grass and a hint of smoke, as if someone lit a hearth nearby. You feel the ground beneath your boots, soft and springy, and the longship looms behind you, its sail dark now, draped over the tree like a forgotten promise. You climb the slope, the runes on the path fading, their glow swallowed by the morning light. Her voice grows clearer, whispering, "Find it," and you wonder what it is. Another sail, a memory, or just her way of keeping you busy, like a ghostly to-do list. You chuckle, imagining explaining this to your co-workers. "Yeah, I spent my night hunting for a Viking ghost lost stuff." Past the stapler. The thought makes you grin, easing the ache in your legs as you reach the top, where a small hollow waits, ringed by stones that hum faintly, like they're singing to themselves. In the hollow, you see it, a cloth, folded neatly on a flat stone, its edges embroidered with ravens and waves, glowing softly, like the sail in its prime. You kneel, your fingers brushing its weave, and it's warm, almost alive, like it's holding her story. Viking women wove cloths as heirlooms, passing them down through generations, a fact found in burial hoards. This cloth, though, feels like a final chapter, a story she couldn't finish. You notice a detail, a single silver thread, woven into the corner, glinting like a tear frozen in time. As a known fact, such threads were sometimes used to mark a weaver's last work, a signature for eternity. You unfold the cloth, and her voice sharpens, a whisper that tickles your ear. "Read it," she says, and you squint, seeing patterns, ships, stars, a woman sewing under a crescent moon. The images shift, telling a tale of loss, of a promise broken, of a curse woven to bind her. You wonder if this is her truth, or if the cloth is weaving you into its story. Historians still debate whether Viking textiles held spiritual power, meant to carry souls to the afterlife. You sit, the needle in your hand, and start stitching, adding a thread of your own, bright as the dawn, feeling like you're helping her finish what she started. Her hum returns, soft and mournful, and you hum along, your voice blending with the fjord's quiet. The stones around you pulse, their light wrapping you in warmth, and you feel your shoulders relax, the cloths glow a gentle embrace. You make a clumsy stitch, and her voice teases, "My cat could do better." And he's long gone. You laugh, the sound echoing in the hollow, and the world feels softer, like you're sinking into a warm bed. You're safe, even as the cloth pulls you deeper, its story unfolding under your hands, guiding you toward her final truth. The hollow stones glow faintly, their light fading as the dawn brightens, painting the fjord in hues of gold and rose. You're still holding the cloth, its patterns ravens, waves, a woman sewing settled now, like a book closed after its final page. The bone needle is warm in your hand, its carvings barely visible, as if it's giving up its secrets. The air is cool, scented with wildflowers and a faint tang of salt, and you feel the fjord's quiet, its waters lapping softly, like a whisper of farewell. The longship waits below, its dragon's head tilted, as if watching you, and you swear it winks, like it's in on her plan. You stand, the cloth draped over your arm, and follow a path that winds down to the shore, where the mist lingers, curling around your ankles like a shy dog. Her voice is gone now, but you feel her presence, a warmth in your chest, like a memory you didn't know you had. You chuckle, imagining telling this story at a family dinner. "So, I wandered a ghost shore, with a magic cloth, past the potatoes." The thought makes you grin, easing the weight of the needle as you reach the water's edge, where a small cove waits, its pebbles glinting like scattered stars. You kneel, spreading the cloth over a flat rock, and notice a detail, a single rune, embroidered in gold, glowing faintly, like a spark caught in the weave. Viking women used runes to mark sacred textiles, often as offerings to the gods. a practice hinted at in sagas. This rune feels like her name, a final claim to her story, and you trace it, the cloth warm under your fingers. You wonder if she's here, watching, or if the shore itself is her legacy, holding her memory in its stones and waves. Historians still ponder whether Viking women wove their identities into their work, leaving pieces of themselves behind. You sit, the needle in your hand, and start stitching, adding a thread that matches the dawn's light, feeling like you're tying her story to this place. The cloth hums, its patterns glowing softly, and you feel a pull, like the shore is breathing with you. The cove is quiet, save for the water's lapping, and you hum a melody, not hers but your own, as if you're saying goodbye. You make a clumsy stitch, and a faint echo of her voice teases, "My raven's got better aim." You laugh, the sound swallowed by the fjord, and the world feels softer, like you're sinking into a dream. The cloth's glow wraps you in warmth, and you're safe, even as the shore holds you, its secrets whispering in the dawn. The cove's pebbles glint under the dawn's soft glow, their edges smoothed by centuries of waves, and you're still, kneeling by the rock, the cloth spread before you, its golden rune pulsing like a fading heartbeat. The bone needle is cool in your hand, its carvings nearly invisible now, as if it's given all it had. Fjord is calm, its waters reflecting a sky streaked with pink and gold, and the air carries a faint scent of damp moss and honey, like a memory of her hut lingering in the breeze. The longship waits behind you, its dragon's head still, as if it knows the journey's almost done. You feel the shore's quiet, its rhythm syncing with your breath, pulling you into a half-dream where the world feels soft and safe. You trace the cloth's rune again, its glow warm under your fingers, and you swear you hear her voice, a whisper threading through the air, faint as a sigh. "Find me," it says, and you wonder if she's still here, hidden in the dawn's light, or if the rune itself is her final echo. You chuckle, imagining telling this story at a book club. "So, I chased a Viking ghost rune at dawn." Or wine, the thought makes you grin, easing the weight in your chest as you stand, the cloth folded carefully over your arm, and follow a path that winds upward, toward a cliff overlooking the fjord. The path is steep, lined with stones that hum faintly, their surfaces etched with runes that glow like fireflies. You pause at one, its carving sharp and angular, and it feels alive, pulsing under your touch, like it's trying to speak. Viking runes were often carved to mark sacred places, guiding souls to rest, a fact found in ancient stones across Scandinavia. These runes, though, feel like hers, a map to her name, her story. You climb higher, the fjord stretching below, its waters a mirror of the sky, and you spot a ledge, where a single stone stands, carved with a figure sewing under a crescent moon. You kneel beside it, a cloth heavy in your hands, and notice a detail, a tiny red bead, woven into the rune's edge, glowing faintly, like a spark caught in the stone. Lesser known fact, Viking women sometimes wove beads into sacred carvings, offerings to anchor their spirits to the land. This bead feels like her signature, a piece of her left behind. You wonder if tracing it will call her back, or if it's meant to let her go. Historians still debate whether Viking runes could name the dead, binding them to memory. You touch the bead, and her voice hums, soft and mournful, a melody that feels like goodbye. You sit, the needle in your hand, and start stitching, adding a thread that matches the dawn's glow, feeling like you're weaving her name into the stone. The rune pulses, its light wrapping you in warmth, and you hum along, your voice blending with the fjord's quiet. You make a clumsy stitch, and her voice teases, "My raven's got better precision." You laugh, the sound echoing off the cliff, and the world feels softer, like you're sinking into a warm bed. You're safe, even as the rune's glow pulls you deeper, its light guiding you toward her final name. The cliff's ledge is cool under you, the stone's rune glowing softly, its light fading as the dawn brightens, painting the fjord in hues of rose and amber. You're still holding the cloth, Its golden runes settled now, like a story finally told. The bone needle is light in your hand, its carvings gone, as if it's done its work. The air is crisp, scented with salt and wildflowers, and the longship below sways gently, its sail dark, draped over the tree like a forgotten dream. You feel the fjord's quiet, its waters lapping softly, like a whisper of her presence lingering in the morning. You stand, the cloth draped over your arm, and notice the longship moving, gliding toward you without a sound, as if called by the rune. You step onto the deck, the wood smooth under your boots, and the ship feels alive, its timbers creaking like they're humming her name. You chuckle, imagining telling this story at a cafe. So, I sailed a ghost ship at dawn. More espresso. The thought makes you grin, easing the ache in your chest as you settle on a bench, the cloth spread before you. Its patterns ravens, waves, a woman sewing faint now, like memories fading in the light. You notice a detail, a single silver thread, woven into the cloth's edge, glowing faintly, like a star caught in the weave. Viking women used silver threads to mark sacred textiles, often as offerings to the gods, a practice found in burial hoards. This thread feels like her final gift, a piece of her story left for you. You wonder if the ship is hers, too, carrying her memory across the fjord. Historians still ponder whether Viking ships were sent to sea to free spirits. The longship trembles, its dragon's head tilting, as if nodding to you, and you feel a pull, like the ship is ready for one last journey. You pick up the needle, though it feels unnecessary now, and touch the cloth. Its glow warm under your fingers. The ship glides faster, the fjord widening, its cliffs retreating into the mist. Her voice is gone, but you feel her presence, a warmth in your chest, like a fire left burning. You hum a melody, not hers but your own, and the ship hums back, its rhythm syncing with your breath. You make a clumsy fold in the cloth, and a faint echo of her voice teases, "My cap folded better." You laugh, the sound swallowed by the fjord, and the world feels softer, like you're sinking into a dream. Cloth's glow wraps you in light, and you're safe, even as the ship sails deeper, carrying her memory toward a final voyage. The longship glides through the fjord, its waters now golden under a sky ablaze with dawn's full light. You're sprawled on the deck, the cloth folded in your lap, its silver thread dim, but warm, like a candle burned low. The bone needle rests beside you, cool and still, its work done. The air is soft, scented with pine and a faint hint of lavender, like a hut carried on the breeze. The ship sways gently, its dragon's head silent, as if it knows the journey's end. You feel the fjord's calm, its rhythm lulling you, like a lullaby woven from starlight. You stand, leaning against the rail, and watch the fjord stretch wide. Its cliffs now distant, their shadows soft in the morning light. The cloth feels lighter now, its patterns ravens, waves, her fading into the weave, like a story told and released. You notice a detail, a single star, embroidered in gold, glowing faintly, like a beacon guiding you home. Viking sailors used stars to navigate, their knowledge passed down through sagas, a fact confirmed by ancient tools. This star, though, feels like hers, a final light to mark her farewell. You spread the cloth over the rail, and it catches the dawn, its glow blending with the sky. You wonder if she's free now, her story woven into the fjord, the stars, the ship. Historians still debate whether Viking spirits could be released through woven offerings. The ship slows, mooring itself against a quiet shore, its pebbles glinting like scattered dreams. You step off, the cloth in your hands, and feel a warmth, like a hand on your shoulder. Saying goodbye, you kneel, placing the cloth on the shore, and the stars above seem to pulse, as if claiming her story. You hum, a melody soft and slow, and the fjord answers, it's lapping a gentle farewell. You make a clumsy fold, and her voice echoes, faint but warm. You tried, you laugh, the sound echoing across the water, and the world feels softer, like you're sinking into sleep. The cloth's glow fades, and you're safe. The fjord holding you, her memory carried by the stars. The fjord is quiet now. Its waters still, reflecting a sky full of stars that seem to breathe with you. You're resting on the stone, the air, soft and warm, carrying the faint scent of wildflowers and cedar, like a memory of her. Your breath slows, each inhale deep and steady, matching the gentle lapping of the fjord against the outcrop. The night wraps around you, a blanket woven from starlight, its edges soft and frayed, inviting you to let go. You feel the weight of the day slip away, your shoulders loosening, your thoughts drifting like leaves on a calm stream. The longship waits, its silhouette faint in the dark, but you don't need to sail anymore. You're here, held by the fjord's quiet, the stars above winking like old friends. Each exhale carries you deeper, your eyelids heavy, your body sinking into the stone's cool embrace. Picture the sail, now still, draped over the tree. Its moon's dark but peaceful, like a story finally told. The world is soft, the night gentle, and you're safe, drifting toward a sleep as deep as the fjord itself. Let the stars guide you, their light a path to dreams where waves whisper and ravens soar.